Alright, so today I'm going to show you the best overall small forward build in NBA 2K23. I know a lot of people might click off the video just because I said small forward, but I know everyone's going to say that the 6'9 point guard is the best build in the game, but I'm going to be honest, I like the 6'8 small forward a lot more than the 6'9 point guard, and I'll show you why. So starting off with the height, weight, and wingspan, so I did 6'8 on the height, 205 on the weight, 7'1 on the wingspan. You're gonna need longer arms in order to get like steals, blocks, things of that nature. The height, honestly, I just did that because it just gave me better stats and just better badges in general. And for the body type, you could go whatever you want. I typically just go built. So now looking at the attributes, as you can see, they're pretty balanced across the board. A lot of 70s and a lot of 80s, which really helps this build play multiple positions. I usually play the 1 through the 4 on this build, which is pretty crazy for a build this year. And to highlight some of the key attributes that I think are important, so one thing in particular is the driving dunk, because you get pro contact dunks because it's a 80, 84 and above, and also because the vertical is a 75 as well. And I have the driving dunk set in 86 because, as you see, the limitless takeoff goes to gold if you get 86, which I think is very important on this type of build. And the 3-point being an 85 is something that I think is pretty big, just because you get limitless range on silver, and it also maxes out at 22 badge points instead of 21, which it's not really the biggest difference, but 22 badge points for the shooting is, I think, plenty in this game. Now, moving on to the playmaking, I did 86 on the ball handle because you're able to get nicer dribble moves, nice dribble sets, all that, which is really going to help you on the offensive end, just trying to create your own shot and all that. And the pass accuracy is an 80, which I wasn't the biggest fan of at first because I thought that was going to be low, but it's actually a pretty good amount. I'm able to throw cross-court passes pretty fast, and also when I get a rebound and I throw it all the way down the court, it's a dot almost every single time, which is kind of crazy. Now, one thing to highlight on the defensive side of things is looking at the 86 perimeter, because you're able to guard ball pretty well, which is very important this year, just because if you run into those little demons, you're able to catch up to them, and you could guard ball pretty well. And looking at the just like the physicals in general, I think these are pretty fair for this type of build. You can't get everything that you might look for, which if I remade this build, I definitely would tone down the speed, because you don't really need that high of a speed. It's really more on the acceleration. So that'd be one thing I would change, but biggest thing in the physicals is actually the strength is really important this year, because that connects to your bully badge. Because as you see, if I take this down, even this tiniest bit, I just lose bully in general. And bully is going to be a fantastic badge. I've already used it a few times, and I've gotten animations where I push the defender out of the way, because I actually have a lot more guards guarding me this year than I do big men. And I'll show you the two takeovers that I use. I just go with the classic ankle breaking shots in limitless range, so I could just break defenders, do the spin shot and break them. And then shooting from deep is just something that's just more important this year, just because of the zone defense, so that's why I have that. And looking at the build name, comes out to be a 3-level score, as you'll see. And one thing that I really liked was the shades, because I thought the shades actually kind of summed up the build perfectly, just because of just great defense and everything. So we got Paul George, Tatum, and Gerald Wallace. So for the last little bit of this video, I just want to share some of the badges that I've been using and having success with on this build. So for starters, I think the biggest thing to look at is the limitless takeoff. That's what I'm using right now in my tier 3, because that helps me out with the quick drops off of 1, quick drops off of 2 that are really cheesy in the game. helps you get better animations, and I'm really trying my best to get a cord, and it's taking forever. But if I did get a cord, I'd obviously go with bully or post riser, just honestly depending on how I'm feeling and what I really just want to use. Now for the shooting, some of the badges that I really think are important this year are especially the claymore, because you're going to want to be able to hit those standstill shots, especially if you're facing a zone. You're not going to be moving that much, so claymore is going to help out even more. I put on volume shooter because it's really popped up a lot actually for me, as you see, working towards that core badge. Hall of Fame has actually worked pretty well because the more shots you take, it's actually been helping me. And looking at some of the other badges, catch and shoot's been really well this year. Really helps just on gold in general this year. And I threw on Green Machine just because why not, and it helps me just a little bit. I just really needed something useful to put it on, so I just put on that. Now for the playmaking, I am still working on trying to get unblockable cord, which obviously if I get that cord, I could get handles for days or killer combos or clamp breaker. But for now, I'm just stuck with quick first step because I have that cord already, and that was actually able to get me bailout, vice grip, ankle breaker, Hall of Fame, hyperdrive, special delivery, which special delivery helps out a lot because this helps you throw better lobs. And actually, let me just say, Aerial Wizard is really good as well if you're looking to finish the alley-oops as well. So for the defensive and rebounding badges, you can do whatever you want. Personally, for me, what has worked well is this rebound chaser on core at the moment, because clamps is taking a little while longer. And hey, this might be unpopular, but I haven't really found clamps being that useful this year compared to the past years. So I've been using like Chase Down Artist because this is really good on gold this year. Glove, that's really good because it helps you pluck people, and Interceptor is just good as usual. Now, I'm thinking about taking a Workhorse off soon, but because I heard that it just doesn't work, but I just have it on gold right now. Pick Dodger on bronze just because you're gonna get with screens. Op ball pass, I really just threw that on just because it was an extra badge point, but you could put it on post move lockdown as well if you're going to be guarding the post. And biggest badge of them all that I think you really should put on is box out beast on silver on this build, just because you could box out defenders, and that'll allow you to get a rebound or someone else on your team to get a rebound. And thanks for watching.